Guys, do subscribe the Gate Hunt and press the bell icon to receive notifications on latest jobs updates, Gate talks and video lectures on Gate and IES.
Hello guys, so welcome to the 7th lecture of ICT for GS for IES. So till now we have studied about networking devices like hub, repeater and switch. So guys, in this lecture we will be discussing about some inter-networking devices. So the first inter-networking device about which we will be studying is bridges. Guys, features of bridges are that it is an inter-networking device. Moreover, it is also referred as layer 2 switch. And moreover, it functions in both physical layer and data link layer. Guys, what does this layer 2 switch means and what does this physical layer means and what does this data link layer means? That we will study in the next lecture when we will be studying about OSI reference model. For time being, you remember that in OSI reference model there are three layers. First layer is known as the physical layer, second layer is known as the data link layer and the third layer is known as network layer. So bridges functions in both physical layer as well as the data link layer of OSI reference model. So that's why the bridges are referred as layer 2 switch. Guys, moving on, bridge is not as intelligent as other inter-networking devices like router. So we can understand it with the help of an example. As we know, bridge connects two or more networks as it is an inter-networking device. So let us consider that this is a network 1 and this is network 2. So guys, here network 1 is acting as sender system whereas network 2 is acting as a receiver system. So let us assume that there are three different paths connecting this sender and receiver system. Guys, all these three paths are of different distance. So if we use a bridge between the sender and receiver, then that bridge can't determine which is the shortest path. Through whatever path it wants to transmit the data, it places the data in that path and the data is forwarded to the receiver via that path only. Whereas in case of router, it can determine that which is the shortest path. Guys, talking about some important features of router, it is an inter-networking device. It performs routing. So what is routing? Routing is the process of finding the shortest path among multiple paths which are existing between sender and receiver. Guys, router is also referred as layer 3 switch and it is functioned in network layer of OSI reference model. So as I have said that OSI reference model consists of three layers. Number first is the physical layer, second is the data link layer and the third one is the network layer. So as router is functioned in network layer of OSI reference model, so it is referred as layer 3 switch. Guys, one of the most important drawback of router is that it can forward the package between similar networks only. For example, we have two networks. One network working using TCP protocol, that is the sender network, and the other network is working using HTTP protocol, which can be termed as the destination network. So this router can't forward packages between these two networks because these are two different types of networks. Guys, moving on, the third type of inter-networking device is gateway. So it is again an inter-networking device. It is functioned above the network layer of OSI model. It can forward the data packets between dissimilar networks, whereas router can't do this. Guys, this gateway is also referred as protocol converter. Even though sender network and receiver network are working with different protocols, it doesn't bother. It can simply forward the packet from any network to any other network. Guys, moving on, let's discuss about the fourth kind of inter-networking device, that is router. So router is an inter-networking device. It is the combination of best features of bridge and router. So that is why router name is given to it. Guys, it can function both in data link layer as well as in network layer of OSI reference model. Guys, that's all about different types of connecting devices. So now let's move on to IP address. Guys, an IP address or Internet Protocol address is a numerical label assigned to each device connected to a computer network that uses the Internet Protocol for communication. That means that it is an address of every system, which can be a computer or mobile or any device which is connected to a computer network which uses IP for data transmission from sender to receiver. Guys, there are mainly two types of IP addressing of systems. First is IPv4 and the second is IPv6. So guys, let's talk about IP addressing IPv4. So some important features of IPv4 are that it provides a 32-bit IP address, and IPv4 provides 2 raised to the power 32 number of IP addresses. That is, in IPv4 there are 2 raised to the power 32 number of IP addresses present, and each IP address is of 32 bit of size. So in other words, we can also say that IPv4 addressing space length is 2 raised to the power 32. So a question might come that what is the addressing space length of IPv4, and four options can be given to you. So you have to take the correct answer. Guys, I will not go in much detail about why and how this IPv4 is of 32-bit size, and that is totally irrelevant for cracking IAS exam, because the deeper concepts of ICT are meant for computer science engineering students, and for cracking IAS you only need to know the basics about ICT. So guys, moving on, let's talk about the classification of IPv4 addressing system. So IPv4 addressing system is basically classified into two types. Number first one is the classful addressing and second one is the classless addressing. So in case of classful addressing, 2 raised to the power 32 IP addresses are classified into 5 classes. That is class A, class B, class C, class D and class E. Whereas in case of classless addressing system, we don't have any class like class A, class B, etc. We have only two types of addresses, that is public IP address and private IP address. Guys, this classless addressing system is also known as CIDR representation, where CIDR stands for classless interdomain routing. So, in order to have a communication between public IP address and private IP address, a concept called NAT is used in case of classless addressing. So, this NAT stands for Network Address Translation. So how this NAT is mapping public IP address to private and private IP address to public. Guys, let us say you are willing to call me and you are at a STD booth having public phone number, and you are calling to a company run by me by using head office number. Therefore, head office phone number is public, but my phone number is not public to you. Therefore, in order to call me, you call to head office, and at that number a receptionist will be available, and then that call will be forwarded to me by that receptionist, and to which phone number this call is forwarded is not visible to you. Therefore, here this receptionist is acting as a NAT. Therefore, using this translation system, we can make an interaction between public IP address and private IP address. So this is how this NAT is used in classless addressing system. Guys, moving on, let's talk about how an IP address is represented in IPv4 addressing system. So there are two ways to represent an IP address in IPv4. They are binary representation and decimal representation. Guys, binary means only two states will be there. One is high stat and other is low stat, that is 1 and 0. Therefore, entire IP address will be containing only these two digits, that is 1 and 0. So guys, in binary representation, there are 4 blocks, each block containing 8 bits, and moreover, each block is separated by a dot. So each block is having 8 bits and there are 4 total blocks. So hence this IP address is having 32 bit. So that is what the definition of IPv4 is, that it provides a 32-bit IP address. Guys, moving on, the second type of representation of IPv4 addressing is decimal representation. Guys, decimal representation is most preferable representation with respect to IPv4 addressing. An example of a decimal IP address is 192.168.0.13. Here again there are 4 blocks and each block is having 8 bit of size. Guys, moving on, let's talk about the second type of IP addressing, that is IPv6. So the main features of IPv6 are that it provides a 128-bit IP address and IPv6 provides 2 raised to the power 128 number of IP addresses. That is, in IPv6 there are 2 raised to the power 128 IP addresses, each of size 128 bit. In other words, we can say that address space length of IPv6 is 2 raised to the power 128. Guys, hexadecimal representation is most preferable representation for IPv6 addressing system. Guys, one example of this type of IP address representation can be like this. So in IPv4 addressing, we were having only 4 blocks, but here we are having 8 blocks and each block is having 16 bits of size. Moreover, in IPv6, each block is separated by a colon. So here this AB2F is representing one block. These are all hexadecimal digits and each digit is of 4-bit size. So guys, basic difference between IPv6 IP addressing and IPv4 IP addressing is IPv6 is having more address space as compared to IPv4. As we have studied that in IPv6 address space is 2 raised to the power 128, whereas in case of IPv4 address space is 2 raised to the power 32. Moreover, IPv6 is still in implementation process. It is still not fully implemented, but IPv4 is fully implemented and even it is exhausted. So alright guys, that's it for today's lecture. So we will meet in the next lecture.
Guys, do hit the like button and do subscribe the Gate Hunt and press the bell icon to receive notifications on latest jobs updates, Gate talks and video lectures on Gate and IES.